Okay. Thank goodness we don't have anybody in the shul that counts the time. Phew. Baruch Hashem. So we're sponsored by the Fisher family, Linishmas Basi Bas Robert Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain. We're sponsored by Nishmas Dov ben Chaim, for Shalemer, for Eliyah Moshe Mechai Sari, Yaakov ben Bas Yalev, for the Schus of Abraham and Yam Benish B'Mak Yehudis and family, by Yoel Klugman and family, for Shalemer, for Avigdor Aya ben Rivka, and the Bas Chai Sari, Yitzhak ben Tzim ben Dusha, Rivka Bas Shira Leah, Chana Bas Shashabina, Dvorah Bas Shashabina, Avigdor Aya ben Rivka, and the Bas Chai Sari, Moshe Meir ben Esther Fadel, and Meir ben Chai Sara. So we're holding Nachman Yaakov ben Sara, yeah. We're holding by the fifth Mishnah in the ninth parak of Masechtas Chulin. Some consider this to be one of the harder prakim of Chulin. Chulias Hameis. Chulias Hameis, this is talking about a marrow bone of a human being. The Chulias HaMekdoshim, and a marrow bone from disqualified kachim, either was disqualified because of pigel. You did one of the four avodas adam with a machshava to have it chutzlas manai. Hanageya behem, one who touches them, bein stumin, whether they're sealed and there's no way to get into the marrow, bein nekuvim, or it's open, tameh. Now this is because that in these cases, it's not mitame just because of the meat, but it's mitame because of the bone. Because the bone of a mace, an etzim kisayra, is mitame. And there's a din d'Rabbanan that a bone of pigel or noiser is mitame as a yadayim. However, kulis nevela v'kulis hasheretz, a marrow bone from a dead animal, or the marrow bone of one of the Shmeina Shratzim, here it's only the meat that's matame, only the meat. But the bone will be matame because it's a shomer. But there's a din, a technicality, gzeres hakasiv, that a shomer is only mitame if the meat is accessible to touch. So hanagea behen, if you touch them, stumin, and they're closed, they're sealed, tar. Nekuvim koshu, but if there's an opening, even the smallest amount, that you could reach it with a hair, mitamim b'maga. It's mitame b'maga. Says the Gemara, how do we know that where it can't be tameh through touch? In other words, if it's sealed, how do we know it's not matama b'masa? Minayin sh'af b'masa, it's only if it's opened. Talmud Leimer hanageya v'hanoisei. The pasuk says hanageya v'hanoisei, touching and carrying. The juxtaposition is es sheba l'chlal maga, that which would convey tumah through touch, ba l'chlal masa, will convey when you carry it. Loi ba l'chlal maga, if it won't be matami through maga because it's sealed, and therefore it's not matame as a shomer, loi ba l'chlal masa, it's not matame if you carry it. Now, Beyes hasheretz, there are certain shrotzim that have eggs. The lizard, the toad, and the snail. These have eggs. If the sheret's egg has a creature formed inside it, mechemis means that it has already a form. So the din is tahira. the din is that this egg is tar. Now, why? Because it's sealed. So you can't touch it. And since you can't touch it, it's not matame as a shomer. However, nikva kolshu, if it has even the smallest perforation, that you would be able to stick a hair in and touch it, then tameya. Then it conveys tama, because then it acts as a shomer, since the meat is accessible. And now we learn, this is probably the most incredible creature mentioned in Shas. And there's a lot of testimony about this in our writings and in the writings of the secular Goyim. The Rambam says that he's aware of this creature. The Tiferes Yisrael says also that he's aware of this creature. This was a mouse that was not born through parents, but like stuff that spontaneously comes from garbage. This was a mouse that started off where half of it was flesh and half of it was still earth. And then it progressed and became all flesh. There was a German professor who wrote an entire study on this, that he said he saw it. He saw it in Egypt, and it exists. Obviously, it exists. It's in the Mishna. So, achbar shechetzio basar v'chetzio adama, a mouse who's in its half stage, where half of it is flesh and half of it's earth. Hanageya babasar tameh. If you touch the flesh part, you're tameh. If you touch the part that's still earth, it's not the meat of a sheretz, tar. Rabbi Yehuda comes and he argues. Rabbi Yehuda says, Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, and you see how our the chances of us seeing this creature in our lifetime is probably less than us winning the Mega Million lottery, but we're learning about it, right? And Klal Yisrael all over the world is learning about this when they're learning Mishna Yomis today. Rabbi Yehuda says that he holds that since it's an organism